Hello, ENFPs. Welcome to day 8 of 30 of the ENFP Reboot. And today and for the next 3 days, we're going to be looking at mindsets that I think are essential. Some of these mindsets I have really strong right now, and others are mindsets that I adopted, I built into my unconscious. They really helped me out, and then I slipped away from. And so part of my personal mission during these 30 days is rebuilding some of these mindsets because I think they make a huge difference. The first one, and what we're going to look at today, is being proactive versus reactive. Reactive work is work that involves waiting for other people to give us an input and then we react to it. It's things like responding to emails, waiting for someone to tell you what to do, and just really anything that involves reacting to other people. Proactive is about going forward and creating something that you think should exist, should be there. It's taking action without anyone else telling you what to do. Usually, proactive work are the things that really drive a business forward or a life forward in general. So being proactive in life would mean thinking, hey, health is important to me. I want to live a long time. I'm going to join a gym and really take care of myself. Being reactive would be the doctor saying like, hey, if you don't join a gym in the next 6 months, you're going to die. Two different things. One is waiting until you have to do something and then being forced to do it. The other is proactively doing something to improve things. If you think in the business context of this, usually the proactive tasks are things that are a little longer term projects, are things that I like to use the term asset. You're building an asset for your business or for your life. So you're proactively making something that's going to be valuable for you for a long time to come, and are things that often I find are really enjoyable to do, but they take a good amount of time. Proactive work often means you have to sit down for a couple hours or a couple weeks and actually work on something, rather than reactive work is kind of good when you're scatterbrained and not wanting to focus. And by kind of good, I mean it's not actually good. But reactive stuff is like, oh, this is happening, I'm doing all this, I'm responding to these people, and then you don't actually produce anything at the end of the day. Managers tend to be reactive workers in most companies. So if you look at like a corporate manager, their work is like 90-something% reactive in most companies because they're just responding to people above them, people below them, to the market, to crises that come up. But they're not learning to like proactively make things and push things forward. And if you want to find success working for yourself, for example, you need to learn how to proactively create something and push it forward, not waiting for people to tell you what to do, not waiting for the market to react or whatever else. It's like you're thinking ahead and you're working on something. Personally, I find proactive work and planning my days and weeks to be proactive, where on Monday or Sunday night, I'm sitting down, I'm thinking all the things I want to do for the week, not based on what happens, but based on what I want to do, the future I want to create. I find that kind of work really enjoyable. And when I'm able to focus on it, I find it really improves my life. I have been much more reactive for the last little while. Some of you know that I've decided that I'm done with employees. That's a whole video series for another time, but that I have started working with some partners, and that's meant I've been a lot more reactive, like responding to what they need, doing some training, getting people up to speed, everything like that. And the last couple months have been very reactive. Now I'm trying to be more proactive because the things that I'm trying to do require me to not react to everyone else, but actually sit down, have my phone off, and like write a new chapter for a book or film videos or whatever else. And that's it really. So this is the first of the 4 mindsets I'm going to share over these next 4 days, which is to set up your days to be proactive. And what you can do with this is now you can take some time and think about all the things that you've maybe done over the last week, things coming up for the following week, and just label them. Is this something proactive? Is this something that's moving things forward and that I'm creating something new? Or is this reactive work that I have to do because of other obligations? And divide that up, and I think you'll find it very interesting to look at those things and then take it from there. Now, we can move into a bonus section on the same video if you want to stick around. Stephen Covey has a book that is called, 7 Habits of Effective People. They tried to make us read this in high school, and I hated it so much. I think because I really hated my leadership teacher. It wasn't a good fit. Funny enough, this class was basically on personal development, and I was the worst student ever in it, and then here I am today, all into personal development. There's one thing from that book that I did remember and that I do think is useful, which is this important urgent quadrant. And this relates to proactive or reactive work, which is you have work that is urgent and that can be important or not important. And then you have work that is not urgent. There's no time crisis to do it, and it can be important or not important. And that most people get stuck in the urgent, not important work, or maybe slightly better, the urgent, important work. And that the key to improving your life and moving things forward and basically taking charge is to spend more and more of your time in the important, not urgent work. And the only way I have found to do this is schedule the important, non-urgent work first before the urgent stuff. Because if you wake up in your day and you open your inbox, you check your WhatsApp messages, and you go, oh, this is all urgent, you will manage to fill your entire 8-hour day with that urgent work. Guarantee you, because I've been experimenting with this a lot. It will just build. You'll respond to the people, then they'll respond, then more things will come in, and that'll be what happens. But if you wake up and say, hey, the first 4 hours of the day are for important work that is not urgent. I'm going to do it before I need to get it done. I'm going to work on proactive projects. Then I'm going to go have lunch, maybe go for a run, and then I'm going to open my inbox and see all that urgent stuff. Well, I will tell you, the amount of time it takes to do the urgent things will shrink based on how little time you give it. There was one point where I would check all my messages once a day, the last 30 minutes in the day, and it was when the co-working space I was at was closing. So it was like, I have to leave within half an hour. And I found usually I was leaving within 15 minutes because it was the end of the day. I wanted to get that stuff done. So I responded very quickly. I didn't emotionally react and think. If someone emailed me, I wasn't thinking about it for 30 minutes. What is the right way to do this? Because this is the other thing with reactive work. There's this opportunity for us to overthink it as ENFPs, right? So someone sends you a message about, hey, would you be interested in working with me on this sort of thing, XYZ? And if you only have 30 seconds to respond, you're just like, no, or yes, let's meet. You kind of answer. But if you have all day, then you're like, oh, this could be interesting. I don't know. Let's go research this person. Let's go do this. And it really expands into a whole wealth of things. So schedule the proactive work, the not urgent, important work first in your day before you ever open yourself up to any of the inboxes that force you to become reactive. And if you do that, suddenly you're going to have all this time to write your book, start your podcast, do your business plan, create marketing materials, start doing whatever exercise practice you want to do, be reading more. Whatever those proactive things you want to do to improve your life, and this can be personal, this can be health, family, whatever, schedule those things first before you become reactive. Once you get into the reactive mode and the urgent things, that just hijacks your brain and there's no chance of going backwards. It's very hard to start your day on the urgent things and then go the other way to the important, non-urgent things. In theory, it can work. I know one person who says it works, but he's only was doing it for a month or something, and I don't really believe him. But usually once you open the door to that reactive kind of cortisol mindset, it's very hard to go back into that slower, creative, deep work mindset that is so important. See you tomorrow for the next mindset that is essential for ENFPs.